Today is a great, wonderful, amazing, incredible day, and I'll tell you why. Because it's a Finland day, but not just a Finland day, but a Finland culture day. Things okay. So start again. Start again. Today is a great, wonderful, amazing, incredible day, and I'll tell you why. Because it's a Finland day, but not just a Finland day, but a Finland culture day. Things okay in Finland, but illegal around the world. Without further ado, let's get into this reaction. Let's go.
Do you want to hear something insane? Some things could land you in jail elsewhere, but in Finland they're just part of everyday life. After helping hundreds of people relocate to Finland, I've seen how shocked newcomers are by what's perfectly legal in Finland. And trust me, not knowing these differences can lead to awkward moments, a lot of frustration, and even trouble with the police. No kidding.
I'm interested because I didn't know there was other things that are illegal or legal. Sorry, illegal in my country, but legal. I had to get that right. Illegal in my country, but legal in Finland. Are there things? I don't know if there are, but I'm looking forward to this. Let's see.
Today I'll show you 7 surprising things that are okay in Finland but illegal in many other countries, and how to avoid and navigate these to stay clear. So let's start with the most insane thing. Finland exposes your money. What if I could figure out how much money you make in Finland in 3 minutes? Check this out.
Verohallinnon puhelinpalvelu.
I remember this video.
Tässä soittaa Alekselinna. Moikka. Haluaisin selvittää erään henkilön verotietoja.
Joo. Eli 19-vuotiaaltako?
Kyllä.
Ja mikä maakunta?
Helsinki. Tai onko se Uusimaa? Kumpi se?
Eli Uusimaa.
Joo.
Ja henkilön nimi?
Semmoinen kuin...
Syntynyt henkilö löytyy.
Joo, kyllä.
Joo, eli valtionverotuksessa verotettavaa ansiotuloa on 208 000.
That still blows my actual mind. That still to this day, I've seen this video, I think a year ago, and it blew my mind then, and it still blows my mind now. Like, how in the hell can you just pick up the phone and the phone calls like 5 minutes and you find out like someone's literal, how much they earned, how much tax they paid in a year? That's crazy to me. That's insane. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable with that. I don't know if do you feel comfortable with that? Like, people know how much you earn. If people know how much you earn, can we not target you for how much if you earn like a lot of money? Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's a bit strange. It's I don't know. It's giving social currency. It's giving China. I don't know. It obviously works in Finland. I don't know what the use case of it is. That's what I want to know. What is the use case for that information to be just available for someone to call up and find out? Why would you need to do it? Like, let me know in the comment section below why you would need to know how much someone paid in income and tax the prior year. Let me know. I would like to know, because I can only think of it being used in a nefarious way, in a bad way. Like, I don't know. Anyways, let's continue.
278 euroa ja 51 senttiä.
Okei, hyvä. Hei, kiitos paljon sulle näistä tiedosta ja hyvää viikonloppua.
How is this possible? Well, in Finland, earnings information is public by law. That means anyone can check anyone's earnings and tax information within minutes. And even GDPR doesn't apply to this. So there's 2 things to know. The numbers you receive are not the total gross earnings, as some deductions have been applied. So we can say that around 10% has been deducted. It doesn't tell the income sources. For example, someone can have a salary plus side income from a business. But how can you use this information? Call or visit the tax office. You can call like I did, or you can visit them and use this terminal to acquire the numbers. Ask the numbers. So you can ask about the earned income, like salary, and capital income, like stock market earnings, etc. Make a comparison. For example, if you're working, look up your peers at work to see how much they're earning compared to you. You won't get...
That could be a problem. That could be a problem. I mean, it's a good thing because it's like there will be no disparity when it comes to income. There will be no unfair treatment, because you couldn't really, unfairly treat somebody and pay someone more than someone else and stuff. But it could cause some problems as well. Can you imagine? Well, you can imagine, you're Finnish, but for me, I'm like, if I'm doing the same job role, or I feel like I'm doing the same as someone else, and getting paid more than me, that could cause some issues. It could cause some self-esteem issues. Like, am I not working hard enough? Why are they getting paid more than me? What am I doing wrong? You know, I don't know. It works in Finland. Well, let me know if it works in Finland. Let me know how you find it in the comment section below. Me, I'm just like, oh my God, that sounds scary, worrying. I don't know.
Notify the people you look up or people who look up you. You don't get any notifications, so this remains completely under the radar. And I've heard some people do this even before the first date with someone, but that's kind of weird to be honest. And well, we Finns are kind of weird, so makes sense. By the way, if you're relocating to Finland and want to do it stress-free, click the link in the description. And speaking of weird, this next thing is actually illegal in Finland, but everyone does it, and even the police don't care. So imagine this, you're going to your first public picnic in Finland. You have nice weather, nice food, nice drinks, and friendly people. Someone brings some sparkling wine and beers. Because we're in Finland. You start to think, hey, isn't drinking in public illegal in Finland? So your friends say, yes, but no one cares. So the lesson is, drinking in public is actually illegal, but no one cares, even the police. But why? So the law actually says that drinking in public is illegal, but when the police gets interviewed from this by the time, they keep telling the same thing. So as long as you do it in parks or similar places, won't get excessively drunk, and won't cause a disturbance, you'll be fine. So
Then make it legal then. Do you know what I mean? Make it legal. If you're not going to enforce the law, this is what really you get with all, this is not a Finnish thing, all governments do this, where they have certain laws in place that they just cannot be bothered to, you know, take out or legislate to get it removed or whatever. They just leave it and say, oh yeah, well, we don't enforce the law, but you know, as long as you're not doing it in our faces, then it's fine. Then why do you have it in law that it's illegal then? It makes no sense. They do this with everything. It's like laws about gay people. Oh yeah, we don't enforce the law that we're gonna hang you, or we're gonna push you off a building, or we're gonna, you know, the death penalty. We don't enforce the death penalty, but it's there. What? Do you know what I mean? There are countries like that have the death penalty for gay people, or imprisonment of 10 years, or hard labor, or whatever, all around the world. Even like countries you think are a bit more developed have them, but they just don't enforce them. What? Then why do you have them? I hate that. I hate that. So you mean to me alcohol is illegal in public, but if you drink it in public, you're not going to get in trouble? It's not. It's legal in the UK. There's no law prohibiting people from drinking outside. So why don't you just... yeah. Anyways, let me know in the comment section if you feel the same way. It makes no sense. They may as well just get rid of it. Like, anyways. Oops.
to behave because I don't want to get you behind bars during your first weeks in Finland. And this next part helps you avoid awkward moments with Finns who have kids, or if you plan to have kids of your own in Finland. So here's a funny thing that happened to me. When I had my first son, I was walking in the street one day with my kid and randomly ran into a follower of mine. He came to chat, told me he had watched my videos and thanked about them to the school, and we just had a small talk. Can you believe it? Small talk in Finland. So when I told about my son, he asked for his name, like what was the name of the son? And I told he has no name. And the guy went like, huh? What's going on? In some countries you are required to name the child upon leaving the hospital, but this is not the case in Finland. Here's how naming a baby works in Finland. Step 1. Receive the official form from DVV. So after your baby is born, the Digital and Population Data Services Agency, DVV in short, will send you a form where you register your child's name and personal details. Step 2. Choose your naming style. So in Finland you have two main options to celebrate your child's naming. Number 1, religious ceremony, ristiäiset or christening. So if you have a christening, the priest will collect the name information and submit it to DVV on your behalf. So for reference, our two kids have had ristiäiset, and we are not really a particularly religious family, but it's just kind of like a tradition. The other option is having a non-religious naming party. This is called nimiäiset. So if you prefer a secular celebration, you need to submit the form yourself directly to DVV, but it's not really a pain in the butt. You just fill the form and submit it. But here's the thing, step 3, meet the deadline. So you must register the name of your child within 3 months after birth. And
I think that's fine. 3 months is really, I think that's fine. It makes a lot of sense. I'm not sure, obviously I don't have any children, so I'm not sure what the rules are in the UK, but I think it might be something similar. I actually do think it might be something similar, because I think. I know, well, with me, I was named something at birth, named the name at birth. So my name was Wayne. Wayne, you're not Wayne's World, without the D. Take the D away, that was my name. And I have a birth certificate that says Wayne. And then my parents decided to change my name, like, I don't even know, maybe a couple of months after, because a family member was like, "Oh, why would you name him Wayne? Why didn't you name him Dwayne? Dwayne sounds better." And that's why I'm named Dwayne. So I've got 2 birth certificates. So I know, like, naming, I think maybe in the UK it's like you have to name your child quite soon, and that puts a lot of pressure on families and parents and stuff who have the new child, and they have to name that child. It's a lot of pressure. Sometimes you can't think of a name, and it takes a bit of time. So to have a leeway of 3 months, I think is perfect. You know, so that you don't feel pressure to name your child straight away. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
If you don't, the authorities will start to contact you and knock on your door, so make sure to start doing this. Step 4, follow the naming rules. So you cannot choose any arbitrary name, and actually all names are reviewed by an official naming committee, which ensures that the name is suitable and conforms to Finnish naming conventions. And they have actually a power to accept or reject your choice. And every year there is a funny article about weird and unusual names that are either accepted or rejected by the committee. For example, in this article it mentions that someone tried to give Velociraptor and Boot Hill as names for the kids, but these were rejected. On the other hand, names such as Aff, Cruella and Tsuge were accepted. So what are these Finnish parents thinking with these names? So I guess now it's safe to say that Finland is indeed a weird country. Welcome to Finland, WTF. And speaking of weird, this next thing can get you a fine of 10,000 euros if you're not careful. Let me illustrate this with a real story. Back in 2019, a Finnish NHL player, Rasmus Ristolainen, who was playing for the Buffalo Sabres at the time, was driving through Turku, a city in Finland. The speed limit of that street was 40 kilometers per hour, but for a short stretch he pushed it up to 81 kilometers per hour. That's more than double the limit. Yeah. Of course, he got caught, and here's where things get crazy. Guess how much his speeding ticket cost him? Not 500 euros, not 5,000 euros, not 50,000 euros, but a staggering 120,680 euros. Holy moly! For perspective, that...
Oh my god. Okay. He was going double the speed limit, and that is crazy. You don't do... It's dangerous as hell. To go, especially if that speed limit is... Yeah, no, that's terrible. You have pedestrians, you could kill someone, you could kill someone in a car. It's so dangerous. I'm currently learning how to drive a car at the moment. I'm getting very close. We've got about 4 weeks until my exam, and I'm getting very close to, you know, being a driver, and I'm getting to see the roads and see people driving and how they drive. And some people drive like literal idiots, and it's scary, especially when you see someone flying down a road and they're like an inch away from your car. It's scary as hell, because people can just drive and drink and you just don't know who's behind the wheel of a car. So I get it, but however, that is insane. 100k. Wow. Most people will be bankrupt. The majority of people will be unless you're someone with a lot of money, unless you're quite a rich person, 100k will bankrupt a lot. Most people, I would say, middle class people in society, I would say, wow, that's crazy. I would flee the country. 100k, wow.
About 2 years' salary for a typical middle-class Finn for a speeding violation. So how does this system work? Could you get a fine of 100,000 euros? So Finland uses a unique system for traffic and some other fines. Here's how it works. For minor offenses, if it's a small violation like parking in the wrong spot, you get a petty fine, which is called rikesakko in Finnish. These are fixed and usually under 200 euros.
Still a lot of money for a little just parking in the wrong spot. Wow, you guys don't mess around with your fines.
You commit a more serious
I don't know if I want to drive in Finland.
Violation like significant speeding, your penalty is calculated as day fines, päiväsakko in Finnish. And here's the twist. A day fine is based on your daily net income, after taxes and essentials. And the number of day fines depends on the severity of the offense. So the more you earn, the more you pay. That's why wealthy people can end up paying tens of thousands of euros or even more than 100,000 euros like Ristolainen.
Okay, thank you. That changes everything because clearly it's more to do with the individual. I'm glad because that's scary. Imagine a poor person and that would be a problem. So if it's calculated on your net income, that's fine. Rich people, so that person that got fined 100k obviously is a millionaire probably. So whatever. But yeah. Whew, I was gonna say, because 100 grand fine for like a normal average person is a lot of money.
The best way to avoid an expensive surprise? Well, surprise, surprise, follow the rules. So in Finland, traffic laws are taken seriously,
honestly,
especially if you earn a high income. And the
you have to, man. Like I'm learning at the moment because I'm learning how to drive. You know, everyone knows. Everyone who's learned how to drive, you're really, you are following the speed limit. And I realized that actually following the speed limit in this country is nobody's doing the speed limit. So it's very noticeable when I do the speed limit as a learner driver and I'm doing 20 miles an hour. I'm doing, if you do kilometers an hour, I can't help you. But yeah, I'm doing the speed limit and then people are like overtaking me. And I'm like, wait a minute, can you not see the speed? Nobody does the speed limit. And that's quite scary, actually. It's actually quite scary that everybody is speeding. Yeah, it's a problem. I don't know what it's like in Finland, but yeah, here it's a problem because it doesn't get enforced here. You rarely see the speed cameras, but you rarely see a police officer. That just gives you a fine. There's no one stopping anyone speeding. You just get a fine, but a fine is a fine. It's not gonna stop someone from speeding and probably hurting someone on the road.
Next weird law will get you held at gunpoint around the world with a pat on the back in Finland. In many countries such as the USA, stepping onto private land or forest without permission can result in serious consequences, like being held at gunpoint by angry owners. But Finland is different. Here you can enter private land and even pick mushrooms and berries without any permission. We call this Everyman's rights, jokamiehen oikeudet, which means that everyone can enjoy nature freely, even on private lands within reason.
I love this about Nordic nations in general, because I think that's the case in Sweden as well. And I think that's the case, not just Nordic actually, I think that's the case in some Western European countries like, I think the Netherlands, I think, has that as well. And I think that's just amazing that you should be able to just go on farmland. In the UK, there are private properties and private land you cannot go on or you're not supposed to go on, but it's quite relaxed. Like if you end up on it, it's not gonna, it's not a big deal. But there is private land you can't go on. I mean, we have a royal family and they own a lot of private land that you can't go on, which is countryside. So, yeah, if we made a law like that, we could probably just walk on royal property all the time and, they wouldn't like that. But, yeah, I think it should be the case everywhere. Maybe not America because they're kind of crazy and they have guns, but see, the UK, they don't have guns. So farmers can't tell you to get off their property like that, so...
We Finns are reasonable. But how do you do this responsibly and avoid trouble, and what are the rules to be exact? So here's a quick checklist to keep things clear. You can walk, ski, cycle or horseback ride in nature, pick wild berries, mushrooms and other common flowers, fish with the basic rod and line. Other methods require a permit, swim, boat and travel.
Wow, you can fish anywhere. There are places, even like where I live, literally a 10-minute walk from here, 15-minute walk from here, there's a river and there's a part of the river you can't fish in because it's private fishing. So I think that's amazing that you can fish anywhere.
On ice, camp briefly in forests away from private homes. And you cannot enter private yards, gardens or clearly marked restricted areas, cut down or damage trees, moss or plants, disturb wildlife or their habitats, light open fires without permission except in designated spots, drive off-road without permission, and litter or pollute water sources. It's great to be able to do things legally in Finland that are legal elsewhere. And this next weird thing can get you jailed elsewhere, but in Finland you can actually earn even 10,000 euros. So if you want to gamble, play slot machines, and try your luck, you usually go to casino, right? But in Finland you don't go to the casino. Guess where you go then? Let me show you. So here we see the gambling machines, but guess where we are? At your local grocery store. That's right, you just go to the closest grocery store for gambling. What is going on? What is going on in Finland? Well, there are three main things to know. The machines are operated by Veikkaus, a state-owned organization that uses the money people lose to these machines for good cause, like culture, science, sports, and other non-profit activities. Sounds good, right? Well, the problem is that most of this money comes from gambling addicts, people who are already struggling financially. And that's why some call it the reverse Robin Hood, from taking from the poor and put it to the middle class people. And also the games are highly regulated, so if you just come here as a tourist, you can't actually play this because you need to be verified, authenticated, have at least 18 years old, and you also need to be a resident. I remember when
Also, you can't gamble if you're from somewhere else. That's interesting.
I was a teen.
We have those exact machines, that he was showing, but we have them in a designated place, like a building called a bookies. And in the bookies, you can play those slot machines, and you can do horse racing gambling and sports gambling, and you can gamble on pretty much anything. But they're like a designated place. You have to be over 18, and it's kind of like privatized. It's away from. I mean, you can have a bookies next to a supermarket, but you can't have that inside of a supermarket. So it's a little bit different. But yeah, inside a supermarket is kind of crazy. But I love that they give them money to charity. I think that's really good.
There were no restrictions whatsoever. Anyone could just put money in the machines and start playing, and that causes problems back then. So what do you need to know? Well, expect to see these machines everywhere. Shopping malls, grocery stores, bars, gas stations, and so on. You need to be at least 18 years old if you want to play, have a residency in Finland, and have a...
Oh, I think we do have them in in pubs, I think. We have those machines as well.
Online banking authentication available. And of course, be responsible. If you want to give this out, you can try it once, but please be responsible. And speaking of responsibility, Finland doesn't seem to care anything about your personal information. Check this out.
I mean, you do care about personal information because you give it out to people when they ask for the tax details.
When my wife and I moved to a new home in Finland some years ago, we had barely unpacked anything when a flyer showed up in our mailbox. It was from a local shopping center, and it said something like, "Welcome to our area. Here are some discount vouchers you can use at our shopping mall." But here's the weird part.
Okay.
How did they know we had just moved? Was our information leaked somewhere? But there was actually a small print on the voucher that said something like, "Address information has not been given to the advertiser." But what does that mean? Well, in Finland there's something called osoitteeton mainonta, unaddressed direct marketing. And here's how it works. Advertisers can send flyers to household in a specific neighborhood or by zip code. So they don't need your name, your address, or any personal data. And delivery companies like Posti will just drop them off to every mailbox in the area. And the advertisers do not actually know who receives the ads. And I guess this would be illegal in many countries due to privacy laws, but in Finland that's totally normal. Privacy laws, that's like a porno genre here. So what should you know about these things? So if you don't want to receive this type of advertising, you can simply place this mainoksia label on your mailbox, and then these advertisers don't actually put any stuff here. And when you relocate to Finland, there are big mistakes that cause embarrassing moments for newcomers. Click this video to...
Wow. There are a lot of things in Finland that are illegal in our country. But they're legal in Finland. Wow. I think the one that really stands out for me when it comes to like Finland and the stuff that's like legal there is the fact that you can, I will never get rid of this out of my head, is the fact that you can literally call up and ask for someone's annual salary and they'll give you that information and how much tax someone paid. Let me know in the comment section if you've ever used that service. Have you ever picked up the phone and had a conversation and asked for that information? Because for me, that's mind-blowing. That's wow. I don't know. I can't shake that. I don't know if I'd like that. But yeah, I'd have no choice if I lived in Finland. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Until the next one, I will see you very soon.